We encourage both feet, small-sided games. We've got some stats on why you play small-sided games, 4v4s, 3v3s, especially, well, not especially, all the way through the race groups. We do it all the way through. Warm-up drill function, we have 5 favourite drills, which I think you'll see them all tonight, hopefully. As much as we can play below head height. We've got time to say we had an argument with the guy from the FA about that. Yeah, we had the FA obviously govern all the football in England and the UK. They have regional, as you do, county FAs if you like, county associations. So we host a meeting about we're trying to get together and we try to improve each other as much as we're doing tonight. We're all sharing ideas. So Billy touched with them. Well, I think you should make the under-9s, under-12 league below head height. And you thought the Antichrist had spoke. Why? Why? Well, it encourages short play, clever play, good movement. All this kind of stuff. Thought, decision making as opposed to just get the ball, go in, get after that. Because my lad plays under-9s at home, and I want him to play for the great social, obviously for him, social for him, and he plays football, and it's what they do. But the pitch is, I think it's 60 by 40. The goals are so high, the kids are down here. The pitches are poor. The pitches, you might see the pitches at home, they ain't clever. Those aren't bad. You've seen our pitches, but the pitches the Sunday League play on are not good. We haven't got that out there, but nowhere near. And all that happens is the little kids are playing this massive pitch. As they do, they run after the ball, somebody humps it around the pitch, and the big fast kid runs through and they win 4-0. And they all go, well, I have to touch the ball. So there's no great thought, and as Billy says, the FA has now changed the thought. The presentation we put on to the East Riding FA and the other people in Hull, and listen, the FA have now started to implement, not because of us, but some of the ideas have been implemented that we discussed. And it's kind of like, well, it's not rocket science. What makes you better? Try to play your way through, or just kick the ball over the top.
I was at a meeting, really, we could talk for a minute. I was at a meeting 15 years ago. A guy stands up, and he says, why don't we play during the summer? So this is our sort of summer back in England, and football in England tradition starts in August. As you know, you've seen the EPL, it finishes. So no, we can't do that. And the only reason is because we've always done that. Yeah, so this year, coming for the first time, this is 16 years later, they're now thinking about changing the young kids and let them play through the summer when the weather's nice, we can practice skills. Instead of that, most of the time, December, I don't know how many of you have been over in England, December, January, February in England is freezing, and that's when we had most of our training for the younger, 9 to 12 is during that time. So the kids stand, we had this good technical, and no wonder, we had this sort of weather, and we had our culture, you would see a different English player, I think.
No doubt. No cues, we don't like cues. When we're doing drills, maybe a shooting drill or a passing drill, we don't like sort of long lines of people. Again, we try and maximise touches, but ultimately try and produce a technically proficient football. He's on the small-sided games. The small-sided games develops more touches, more decisions, and more involvement, obviously, with all the players. We can't just have them put the balls on there. Someone stood there waiting for it. They've got to be involved as well because the pitch is smaller and there's less players, all that kind of stuff. Quick and simple.
Sorry, no brainer. Manchester United, 9, 10, 11. The FA say you've got to play, I think, 8 aside. Manchester United say the team's got to play them. You come to us, we play 4 aside. And you see one of the games we played tonight, it was the end zone game and 4-goal game and all this sort of stuff. And that's what they do. And their kids are typical. It's just common sense, isn't it? Kids.
And there's the stats. I mean, these are from the FA. That's what they give us. This is the reason why to play small-sided games, because it will give you so much more passes, so many more touches, so many more decisions, loads more goals. And
it's a no-brainer.
More happens.
Funny, I was taking Kim's team up yesterday, and I said to the girls, let's have it. What do you call it? Scrummage. Scrummage is rugby. Scrimmage. Let's scrimmage. See, okay, we'll have a game. Put the pitch out, and they went, the pitch is too small. It's not too small. This is the right size. They wanted it bigger, didn't they? And today they played us, and they got good today, and they got nice triangles going. It was excellent.
Environment, what creates environment? Facility, players, coaches, naturally, the ethos of the organisation, and people. You know, us, we create the environment for the kids.
I think you've got a coaches, you call it, you know, second coach. But I think all the coaches, if you're running a centre, you're going down like us. We can't afford to have anybody on the chain. It's not the same wavelength. Speaks the same language. You know, all from the same house, if not a struggle. We even have a luxury, we've even our own terminology. So anything that I said a couple of things over here, it would, we would just all know. So from 6 or 7 year old when they come in the development centre, they're hearing this word, this means that. And when they get to 19, it's the same word. So we're not having any coaches call it different words. We'll call it the same word all the way through. You know, like the one I had last night with the boys was I said foot on. When somebody runs and they put his foot on it, you know. And the guys who didn't know what I meant, which is fine, because that's our terminology. All our kids from that age know what I meant.
Repeat stuff a little bit then.
Yeah, yeah.
So, just winners, when we say winners, obviously winners means they achieve what they're trying to achieve, as in the outcome to become an excellent footballer. We have to deal with parents and players. Parents quite a lot these days. I'm sure yourself, whatever you do with the parents, we're having as well. And maybe not some of the things we have to deal with this year, but there we go. But you know, we have to sit down, we assess the players, and we give them feedback, and we have to have an assessment. And as I think you say, you cut players that we have to make decisions when we go. Sorry.
Sorry, interrupting this, me asking you a question. Do you have assessment? So, do you know what Neil meant by that? No? Yeah? Would you do that?
Oh yeah.
How often do you do it? So,
See, at least twice a year.
so you sit down with mum and dad? For how long?
Parents actually. 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, give them an assessment. Do you actually give them a like, mark it at 10 or where they are?
I haven't done that. A verbal
It's
assessment.
a verbal,
Verbal,
bit of feedback, yeah.
So we've got to be the stipulation for the rules, we've got to give them 3 assessments a year. So they know where they are.
And the last one might be
Maybe the chop.
sorry. Not nice. And then we are the Antichrist. So player, what do we look for? We a little thing, we call it tips, technique, intelligence, pitch personality, speed and strength. Now obviously, when we talk about the younger kids, we always talk about the ultimate, that's what we like, you know, when they get to 18, 19, this one comes whenever they're ready, but no doubt it's on the modern game. You certainly have to have a bit of that. And we told the lads the other night that we were fortunate in the Premiership, we got to stand wherever we wanted to basically, or could when they changed room. But we could we walked in the tunnel, we stood in the tunnel as they walked past these guys, and we were like that. And Billy were like, you know, there was 7 of us in a line and there was Snow White stood there and we were like, jeez, look at the size of these lads. Yeah, they were huge, they walked in, they were huge. You know, the Vieiras and Torres of the world. But, you know, no doubt it's gone that way, so athletically it's gone that way, but, I mean, they can still play, don't get me wrong. They can still play, but certainly you've got to have a lot of that in your game now to go top elite level. Pitch personality, has anyone got any thoughts on that one, what that might be? Obviously it explains what it is there, but what we're saying is, you know, you could be quiet as a lamb off the pitch, yeah, but when you step over that white line, you better bring your game. Yeah, you better come and influence the game, you better show us what you've got, you better go and take the game to them, we want you better, you know, make sure that when you're playing, people know you're playing. So because that's basically, those that can't handle that, what we would say to them, if they haven't, you know, we're starting to go, you know, with the players that we see, that's massive for us, but we think technically now, that maybe have taken over sometimes, that they want that. But if we say if you haven't got pitch personality, you ain't going to achieve it. So that's the mental strength basically. If you haven't got that, all those other 3 are a waste of time, because we've all seen players who've got all 3 of them things, and they're technically, you know, really good and do all this kind of stuff, and they go, yeah, whatever. You know, they can't really be bothered to do it. So without that, you know, they ain't going to achieve.
In this one here, we asked the coaches to look for the chronological age. So sometimes, if you're August, you find that most of your players tend to be September, October. Is that right? No?
Well, August 1st is our cutoff date,
Yeah.
so we have a lot of August boys, yeah, absolutely.
So that's worldwide, by the way, so.
Well, and we've all read the studies, we have Little League Baseball, which is a different
Same,
rule, and there have
same.
been studies that show
Same.
that all the major leaguers and major
Yep.
leagues here are all born in the 3 months that make them the oldest 3 months.
We're trying to make our coaches very aware of that. So we'll look at the guys born 6 months later.
Got one boy who was saw a picture of in the bay. He's the youngest you could possibly be August 31st in the league, and he's the boy that played against Torres and them kind of. So DNA again, and I'll repeat myself slightly, but that's what we try to create, a DNA of coaching, players' DNA, playing-wise DNA, and the way the coaches behave themselves. We try so not just coaching, the coach's behaviour. And that was me and Billy, we put this out to the coaches. We had a meeting with the staff and went, come on then, what do they want? What do they want from our players? We've got our own ideas, you bring some, they added to it, took some away, went, yeah, okay, we'll go with that then. And you could sit there and you could add and take away again. That's all you could add to that. But that's what we watch from our players. Repeat self select again, high tempo, play defensively, play from the back, play from midfield. I think it goes on to that. Sorry. Creates the team, but again, it's not obviously. Hopefully, it's all again. That's just our philosophy, the way we try and play.
Some of the teams we play against in England, that isn't their philosophy.
Other pro clubs.
Other pro clubs, no chance. They don't try and play through midfield at all. It's just like, well, here it comes. It's hard, and they're doing that sometimes. Doing it 10 years old, they're getting a kick it. They try and so something I said to you earlier. We've got to take defeat. It's not defeat. It's result. We're not bothered with that as long as I walk up to the coaches. So on a Sunday morning we play, and I walk round to my age group coaches and I go up and go, how are you getting on? And they tell me the result. I said, I didn't ask the result, I just said, how are you getting on? And hopefully now they all go, yeah, we're playing quite well, we've kicked the ball well. Can't in the final thought we're not doing so well. I don't really want to know the score. I don't want to know the score.
So just some of the phrases you might hear tonight. Again, just things that we day to day that roll off our tongue now that Marty and Kim kind of said, well, we don't really hear that kind of stuff. And what we always said was, if you take one of them phrases and go, for example, play the first thing you see. If you bring that into your coaching sessions now, and it's from this little meeting, then you've got something out of it. That might just be that one thing you go, yeah, I love that. I mean, you have other things where we spoke. We put that on in a little bit later, because obviously we came over to this, what we're going to do, might have so many phrases. So yeah, okay, then we'll try and show something in, but there might be someone come out, one of them out tonight, rubbish normally, but you go, oh yeah, we'll have that one as well. So you might not, so it's just, that's what we say. So again, the way we play, repeats it, repeats it. So practice makes,
back foot, what do you mean?
What's that?
back foot, okay, alright, what we'd say is on your back foot, so if you're, what's your name, sorry? Marcus, so Marcus on the ball, so if I'm in midfield, you're playing centre back, I would ask my midfielder to make an angle, get side on, and I want you to pass the ball to my back foot, so I can turn out and go that way.
Yeah.
Depending where the pressure's coming from. If Billy's coming from that side, I might say, we'll pass my front foot, but if he's turning right back there, I go, we'll pass my back foot and go the other way.
It's really linked into that there. So, one of the things that the notes with the boys here, I don't think they make big enough angles. So I'm saying if that's the man that's smart to keep you come this far, that he's able to play on your back foot all the time, so you can open out and go the other side.
I understand the concept, we call that front foot, because it's his front foot.
Yeah.
It's just a different, that's why I wanted to see if it's
Same
something
thing,
different.
yeah.
Just back foot football.
Anything more on that one? There? No. We'll play in that. So practice makes permanent. It's not going to come to that slide. Practice makes permanent. We say to kids, if you keep practicing, repeating, it'll become second nature, and you'll do it like you think about doing it. It'll just happen. These are some of the kids we've had. There's Liam. Liam's August 31st birthday. He's a baby in term. I think he was 17 when he played in that game.
Yeah.
He was still a scholarship player. He was as well. That's the same. No, that was at home actually. That was at home Liverpool. That's away Liverpool. Oh, I didn't realise Altigo was on there. So he's on there again. I didn't know. I realised one of the other guys, oh, these have to do all these lads there, you see Nelka, and you know, they played in the Premiership for, and they've top left since he was 8, Will here since he was 8 and 9, and Liam as well, 8 and 9. Tom came from Leeds at 15. Excuse me. Jamie was Southern Irish, Dublin at 15 as well. We might have been at 14, 15. Signed him early, and Mark came at 15 from the Newcastle area. He came from Sunday League. So one of our scouts up there, he just rang up and asked if you have a look at this kid, Neil. Yeah, okay, yeah. And he comes in and we call him M&M, but he came in, you know, he's grown now, but he's that big, but he was that big. He came with a hoodie on, you know, you're like, oh, here we go. And he was in the train when he went, hi son, you're right next to me. He went, oh, I already eat. And you're like, oh God. You know, first impressions, but then he went to train and he went,
You'll do it.
yeah.
He's right. He's right. He's one of right.
So that, I mean, that's basically it on Hull City's presentation. Like, just a bit of a background on ourselves. We might have to fire through this one to get through it. And I was going to show you a DVD, but we might have time to do that at the end with our kids playing. We're going to come back in.
Yeah,
Well, as we said, tonight we're going to talk about movement. So this, if I've done it right, this leads on to the presentation about movement that we're going to do tonight. And the drawings you're going to see are all leading up to the bigger picture about movement when they start playing 11v11 or 4v4, 8v8. It's going to be 4v4 a lot tonight. But that's what the drills are in place tonight for. So, that's where he jumped. That's I knew I'd got it somewhere. Yeah, there it is. I thought I had it.
You'll know that stuff. You know 10,000 hours.
Yep.
Well, we get happening a lot.
I'm really boring Marty at the minute. There's a book out called Bounds by that guy there, Matthew Syed, and he said, yeah, for every coach, I'm not a great or avid reader, but I would recommend you read that book. I think it's fantastic. Maybe because it's my philosophy as well. But yes, it's 10,000.
Yeah, we've got shares in it. So
Yeah, we've got shares in it. That's my pseudonym. That's me.
Yeah, that's his nickname.
No, it's a good book, honestly. It was recommended to me at some of the big courses we went back in England. And I don't really, but there was about 10 presentations, and three of the presentations from guys, what do you call it, I can't remember the name of the guy now, but they actually flagged this up all the way in this book. What do you call it?
Sorry, John?
Presentation.
Hey.
No, but this was the one thing he was really, and this is the sort of thing, I'm not sorry to that, but it's got to be purposeful practice. It's all right doing practice, but it's got to be purposeful, sort of game-related practice. Don't be just, every technical practice could well, you've got to try and make the players think as often as you possibly can. Stress them a lot.
Marty, that's not you, is it, in the background?
It is.
Is that Marty?
Yeah.
Marty was over.
It's Marty there.
No, I'm in that big tree, look at this. It's huge. So this is the scenarios that we look at when there's a bit of movements all over the park. You're going to get this, so please don't start. There's too much information to start writing down. So, you know, I don't want to talk about all that because the drills are probably what you're more interested in.
That's what we talk to our kids about.
Yeah, this is what we say. This is you know, you've got to know this. So when the back players composed possession, for example, that jumped in there. I apologise about that. But that's a quick comment. Harry Redknapp's manager of Tottenham at the moment. So this is about movement again. So he's talking about obviously Man U there when they played Man U. You know, I mean, if again on movement of formation, if you can tell me what formation Barcelona played, you know, I'd like to hear it. But we're not sure ourselves.
I think they played 4-6.
Exactly.
I mean, that's basically what they played.
Thank you.
It was the same formation. Constant
They
movement of all the
play
players.
They play 4-6.
All they do.
No,
It starts 4-3.
Yeah, it starts like that, but it's constant movement. It's all movement. I mean, Villa was back playing in the penalty box against Giggs on one point, so that's what happens.
There's one, I don't know if Neil's got them because Neil's done the presentation, but there's a bit from one of the sort of conferences we were at, and it shows you Messi where he is in the pitch. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen it, the dots. Is it on?
I've got it. I can probably get it.
It shows you where he's touched the ball, and it shows you where other players have touched the ball. It is phenomenal. You know, when you think they're playing sort of here, but actually they're playing all over. if you can get it.
I'll get it,
It's
yeah.
worthwhile just to see it for.
See, I mean, I know we're supposed to be finishing at 8, but we ain't really planning to finish at 8, I don't think. Especially where this is going. So this is jumped, I apologise, I'll change it for just, that's the average contact time on the ball. It speaks for itself. In the Premier League, 2.6 seconds, and they have 2.4 touches. You know, they're getting it and they're passing it. You know, it's quick, that's what I'm trying to say. You know, the game is quick, the game is, you know, you haven't got much time at all on the ball. It shifts. So your decision making, your movement off the ball has got to be absolutely spot on. So again,
So if we can put that in down here, if we can put that in down here, that quick thinking, quick passing, that on that ball about.
That's what they've got to try and get to. That's why we have to try and ingrain it all in them. So that's what I was trying to say about so the good composure at the back. This is the way, obviously, it's Argentina. And the Argentinian fans in here. So Walter Samuel might have sort of composed possession where they're obviously defending quite deep. They've dropped right off. You know, they're going to let them have it. As you probably would do to Argentina, otherwise they'll just, you know, rip you apart. So they're saying now, well, we're not saying now, that these two guys, the movement off the ball, Mascherano and Verona work together because they want Verona on the ball as much as they possibly can because he's the playmaker. He's the playmaker, he's the one that's going to pull the strings. So Mascherano moves away from the ball. As that's happening, Otamendi's moving there, so he's moving, this guy's going like that, oh, I better go and pick him up. Gutierrez is coming in here, so he shifts him again, so now this guy is going, well, do I stick to a bust? Yeah, at the same time, Messi's moving, you know, Heinz might have trotted on a little bit, and the movement from all over the park away from the ball is, you know, it's super. And Barcelona do the same. Barcelona is as good as, if not better. Well, obviously better, to be honest with you. And just an example there, there's Mascherano clearing out the hole, if you like, to let Veron come in, so he's affecting. I think that's Germany, the player is Germany sitting on there. So they're shifting whoever the midfielders are for Germany. It's not been on there, no, it's just a picture. And so the other way around as well, Veron's clearing out the hole to get Mascherano on the ball, and there's Messi playing, you know, I don't know where he's playing. You know, in theory, if you're in, Messi should be at the park there somewhere, obviously, but he's coming off the shape because probably somebody took his place up there. So this is Arrigo Sacchi, I've heard of him. Legendary Italian coach, manager, World Cup winner. I think he might have, I'm sure he's won the World Cup with them. You know, and to reinforce what we're saying, that's what he said probably 15 years ago. He's saying that. Move according to where he thinks a player should be in position. Move. You know, be where you should be. That's if you just put be where you should be, where the ball is and appropriate to teammates, no, that's what he's saying. Whoever has the ball becomes a playmaker. Just because you're playing up front, nah, those days are gone. The modern game now is evolving. Cardiff City is at the moment in the Championship, in our league, are really good at it. If that little phrase at the bottom, won the FA, it's an FA one. So again, it's the same sort of principle, if you like. You know, just different names. Stephen McPhail, who's a Republic of Irish. He's not a Republic of Irish, by the way. Just might be able to put that in from my point of view. Olafin Jan is actually a Hull City player. He's on loan to Cardiff at the moment. You know, they've got a similar kind of movement going on. Olafin Jan will clear off because they want the two best players, if you like, on the ball, on Whittingham and McPhail. They want them in possession. So Olafin Jan realises that, so he clears out the hole. Yeah, lets the players come in. Yeah, and gets them the ball, and he can play it. Or don't get me wrong, he's a good player. Yeah? So their movement is of a similar nature.
Once they one go away and one come and play.
So the possession's here with Rigger. So McPhail's just standing still. We're going to stand still in a bit. He just stands still. Yeah, a good angle, back foot play if you can. Give me the ball. Olafajani, he's clearing off. He's going away. He's trying to shift this guy out of the way because Whittingham's going to come in there and join in with McPhail and try and play.
I was not a similar thing to this, but up the front here, I was taught this about 20 years ago with strikers. Sorry about this camera.
It's on for camera, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So I was taught it was three Russian strikers. Yeah. So it was come off, pop off, and go off. Sorry. Yeah. Come off, pop off, and go away.
Just more examples of interchanges, players moving. players Mark moving away, replace the runner, one in, one out. Names you've all heard of, Fabregas, where does he play? You know,
Barcelona.
yeah, he plays at Barcelona. That's what he's doing. No, he's playing that way, exactly. That's how he plays.
His teammates said they
He's
were.
their kind of player.
We'll do some of that, and some of the wee things we'll do tonight are the ways to get to that. So, because we're pitching at such a different level, of sort of man to sort of tens, you know, the men's down here, I think we can't do, you can't show that, that's not, look at us showing you all that stuff out there, but this is the reason that you're trying to put it in down here.
So this is what the general feeling, not the general feeling, the stats are now that more goals are scored from central areas. This area here, called the hole. We go on other courses and call it the zone 14. When we go on courses, you have to stats game and they divide the pitch up. That's zone 1, 2, 3, 4. That's zone 14. So what they're saying is now you can picture it all, Barcelona and Messi coming in out of here. So more goals are created from this area.
Can you see that, Marty? Yeah. Because remember, Marty thought that was the centre circle last time.
Yeah, that's the ball. So 25% of the time, the striker coming back in, yeah. Coming in, yeah. Somebody might have gone away, he's coming in to play. Somebody coming in for the wide, 9% both times there. A forward run from Wiltshire, that's just the name is put there to come into the area to get to free himself up on a half turn. While he's done that, somebody else might have cleared off. A deep run is 60%, but the majority of the time, and that's something we found out at the moment over here coaching the guys, is that we've found it hard for them just to go, well, I'm in space, I recognise I'm in space, I don't need to move, I'm just going to go, yeah, here, I'm on if you want, I can stand still. I'm a good option, I might just move my feet a little bit to adjust my angle, but that's what we found with the lads, and that there's factors there that's saying
I found
33% of the time.
I found that me personally, I've found that the hardest thing to coach since I've started coaching, to make kids identify that they've actually got enough space to just stand still and let the game move about them and they'll have the ball. And you watch Barcelona, the number of times they receive the ball when it's stood is unbelievable because they work for the angle, big angle, and in the way the game moves about also just comes to them. And they seem to have the good players, always seem to have loads and loads of time. You know, that was one of the things. Another thing, when famous Liverpool scout with Liverpool winning the European Cup, he said, "I never want to judge a player when he's got no time. I'll always judge a player when he's got loads of time." And we think it's the opposite of me. And the reason being that it comes into me here and I've got no time. Sometimes there only is one option, so all I've got is bam. Yeah. Whereas if I've got the better players, I've got more time to pick the right pass and make the right decision. And that basically the higher you go, apart from athleticism, technical ability, the best is how blessed are the decision makers. They're the ones that become great players. And this, I would say to Marty last night with a couple of beers, I think,
I didn't.
And nothing without hard work. And I think sometimes we misconstrue hard work as being physical. You know, like running and chasing. That's part of it in the press. But I think hard work's this. I think it's this. It works really, really hard. It's this that should be on the thing all the time. Where you're going to go, how are you going to stand? And it's trying to get the kids to appreciate it's the brain, it's the decision making more than anything else. Last night I did a session, couldn't get it going. I could not get the session going because the boys were like, you know,